Okay. Good morning to everyone. Today, in this lecture, we are going to see two other topics of jurisprudence, that is purposes and functions of law, and second one is the advantages and disadvantages of law. Uh, till today, we have seen what is meant by jurisprudence, what are the purposes, importance of jurisprudence, utility of jurisprudence. We have also seen what is meant by law, what is the definition of law, definitions of law given by many other jurists, and as well as we have seen the kinds of law also. मग आपण डेफिनेशन बघितली, ज्युरिस्प्रुडन्स म्हणजे काय हे आपल्याला कळालं, लॉ म्हणजे काय हे आपण बघितलं, लॉचे प्रकार किती असतात ते आपण बघितले. मग याच्या पुढचा जो काही टॉपिक आहे तो म्हणजे why this law is necessary, what are the functions of a law, means what is the need or necessity, means why the law has been made, what is the need to evolve the law as such. लॉची गरज का आहे, लॉ काय आहे हे आपल्याला कळालं, पण मुळात लॉची गरज का आहे, खरंच लॉ इतका आवश्यक आहे का, जे नॉर्म्स सोसायटीमध्ये आहे की जे रिलिजियस आहे, रिलिजियस लॉज आहेत, कस्टम्स आहेत, ते पुरेसे नाही का, असा प्रश्न काही ज्युरी समोर पडला. आणि म्हणून त्यांनी लॉ असावा असं सांगितलं, पर्टिक्युलरली पॉझिटिव्ह लॉ असावा असं सांगितलं. आणि मग त्यांनी सांगितलं देर आर सर्टन डेफिनेट पर्पजेस अँड फंक्शन्स ऑफ लॉ which are necessary, and therefore we should have a law or we should have a legal system, and therefore it was thought that there are certain purposes and functions of law. Now what are those certain purposes and functions of law that we are going to see here? Okay, moving further, now we'll start with the Bentham. According to Bentham, as we know that the Bentham is known as a father of jurisprudence. Rather, he is a person who have separated the law from social sciences, and therefore the credit of creation of the term jurisprudence is on his name. And therefore, we have to see what is the Bentham's view regarding the purposes and functions of a law. According to Bentham, the substantive branch of law, the substantive means the law which provides rules and regulation, that is substantive branch of law has defensible object, has defensible means which can be proved, defensible means which can be proved, which can be claimed in any situation, defensible object or purpose we can say, or this is the function. Or he also said this is the end of law. What is the end of law? That is the maximization of happiness, maximization of happiness, जास्तीत जास्त लोकांना जास्तीत जास्त आनंद किंवा कल्याणकारी समाज प्रोव्हाइड करणं, maximization of happiness of the greatest number of people, of the greatest number of people, number of people or the members of community. The term why the law is necessary, according to Bentham, the ultimate object of law is to have maximization of happiness, means maximum happiness. We cannot measure what is exactly maximization, what amount of happiness is necessary. The happiness is necessary for living a good life, and therefore this is the object of law according to Bentham. Now, how the happiness can be achieved through the law? As we know that through the law we can stop or prohibit a wrongdoer. We can prohibit or stop the wrongdoer, and we can punish him through the system of law. Without law, we cannot punish the wrongdoer. Without law, we cannot punish the wrongdoer, or this is also known as a bad man's theory. The law is for those who are bad in character or who are not following the law. And such people, these wrongdoers are very few people in the society. And if we want to punish them, then it can be possible only through the system of law. In a system of law, there are some people who are lawmaker or who makes the law. There are people who administrate the law. There are people who implement or execute the law. And therefore the system is possible only through the law or legal system as such. And by this way we prohibit the wrongdoer, and so that we can protect, we on the other hand we can protect the victims or the maximum number of people. This way we can protect, we can secure their interest, we can welfare, or we can secure welfare of this number of people. For example, in Constitution of India, the preamble is provided. What the preamble says, what is the object of preamble? To make the India social, secular, democratic republic nation, and to secure to its citizen. I hope you remember the word, to secure for its citizen liberty, etc., etc. Having it means to secure. In preamble of Constitution of India, we know what is the object of the Constitution. The preamble of Constitution says the object, that is the purpose of the Constitution, the purpose that has to be served through the implementation of constitutional provisions, and to secure to for its citizens equality, justice, fraternity, integrity of the nation, etc., etc. These are the objects, these are the purposes for which the preamble, for which the Constitution of India has been enacted. This is given in the Constitution itself. This is the purpose of law, this is the object of law. And this is according to Bentham, that is the maximization of happiness of the greatest number of members of the community. Then according to Holland, the object of law is somewhat similar in nature. According to Holland, law is more than mere police state. Law is more than mere police state. Now, those who are from 5 years background, they must be knowing that the development of the state can be categorized into 3 stages. First, the police state, then laissez-faire state, and next, welfare state. These 3 are the stages of development of state. What is a state? State is the sovereign authority which has been established, or the state is the political sovereign authority which has been established to serve certain purposes, particularly to protect the life and property of the people who are living inside that state. And therefore, the earlier in 18th century, when there was dominance of certain fundamentalists, say religious fundamentalists like a Christian, or in India Hindus, or particularly we can say spiritual gurus who are having dominant position over the king also, over the state also. And therefore at that time they were not looking towards the what we can say the welfare of the people. At that time, the people thought we should have a human laws for ourselves. That is the law made by human being for another human being. Instead of following God-made law, we will follow the human law. And therefore, they developed the idea of parliament or the idea of democracy. And in that democracy, why democracy is necessary? Then in that time, it was thought why democracy is necessary. First, the police state. What is the state? The job of police state is to protect the property and person. Person means a body of human being. To protect the property and person, those who are living inside the state, is the only job of state. Therefore, that state is known as a police state. This was the first development, to protect. what the people will do after protecting, what will be their earning sources is not the matter for the state to decide. Then later on, this police state developed into laissez-faire state. What is laissez-faire state? This was the development during the particularly after 18th century and at the primitive stage of 19th century. Laissez-faire, wherein individualistic approach has been adopted. Individualistic means the state has no control over the activity of an individual, and this has developed the scar of capitalism. This has developed the scar of capitalism, which again developed fundamentalist or communism. This has developed the fundamentalist aspect or the communism, which has developed the segregation of several nations, communism, or we can say it as a socialist approach or a socialism. Means गरीब गरीब होत गेला आणि श्रीमंत श्रीमंत होत गेला ह्या लॅझेस फेअर स्टेट मध्ये. आणि मग ऍट दॅट टाइम इट वॉज थॉट इट इज द जॉब ऑफ द स्टेट that the state shall protect and preserve the rights of every person. This has developed the ideology of welfare state. Now it is the job of state to give security, to promote happiness, to promote human rights, and to give employment, food, shelter, clothing to every person who are living inside the state. These are the development of state. These are the phases of development of state. And now I am on the point that why law is necessary. According to Holland, the job of law is more than mere police state. Means the job of law is not only to protect the property and person, but more than that. And to secure more than that, it is necessary to have a law. Further, Holland says the ultimate object of law is the highest well-being of society. According to Holland, the ultimate object, what is the ultimate, or we can say the final object of law is highest well-being, highest well-being of society. This is the ultimate object of law according to Holland. How to achieve the highest well-being of the society? Of course, by prohibiting the wrongdoer and by protecting the victims, as well as it is the job of the state to secure the human rights of an individual. Human rights in the sense of food, clothing, and shelter, as well as education and health. These are the primitive, what we can say, responsibility of every state, and therefore this is the job of the state. This is the function of law through which they can secure the highest well-being of the people. Then, according to Roscoe Pound, the job of law. Now we know Roscoe Pound is of recent jurist, particularly in 19th century or at the mid, and thereafter the Roscoe Pound has developed his own theory of social engineering and like that. Ultimately, the object of law, according to Roscoe Pound, is to curtail the friction of the society or to stop the friction of interest. There are always a friction. Friction means a dispute between different interest. Interest, we have seen it: public interest, private interest, and social interest. These are the three kinds of interest which are every time colliding with each other, or they are having what we can say, the contrast with each other. Every time they are against each other, and this creates the dispute or a friction. Then the job of law is to act as a lubricant so that the friction can be avoided, so that the friction can be what we can say avoided in the interest of the equity and in the interest of the social engineering as such. And therefore, according to Roscoe Pound, the first object of law is to maintain law and order. The first object of law is to maintain law and order. समाजामध्ये कायदा आणि सुव्यवस्था ठेवणे हे कुठल्याही कायद्याचं प्रथम कर्तव्य. Now, what is law and order? It depends upon the society, its structure, its maturity, etc. But to maintain the law and order is the first purpose of law according to Roscoe Pound. Please bear in mind, we are on the point of purposes of law or the object of law. Many time it seen that when we are going to study the further, we forget what exactly we are looking for. We are looking for the purposes and object of law. Now, according to Roscoe Pound, the first purpose of the law is to maintain law and order within a given society. Okay. Then the second purpose of law is to maintain the status quo in society, is to maintain status quo. Now this is a quite technical ones. To maintain status quo in society, to maintain law and order in society, to maintain status quo in society. All these are related. What is meant by status quo? Status quo means to keep the situation as it is. To keep the situation as it is. As it is means to keep the law and order continuing in nature. The law and order situation cannot be break, cannot be infringed by any person. If he disturbs the law and order situation in the society, then he has to undergo the punishment. And therefore, by this way, first to maintain the law and order and to continue that law and order, that is to maintain the status quo in the society. And the third object of law, according to Roscoe Pound, is to enable individuals how? Through the law, to enable individuals to have the maximum of freedom. This is very important, to have maximum of freedom. Therefore, in Indian Constitution, we have Part 3 and Article 19. If you remembered it, right to freedom of speech and expression, etc. That is to have maximum freedom to assert themselves. This is a quite what we can say. To assert themselves or to live their life in a fullest extent. That is Article 21. Here we can say. Now, the third object of law is to enable individuals to have maximum freedom. Maximum freedom means the law is for the general happiness of the people, and therefore general happiness can be secured by allowing maximum freedom. Freedom is a certain thing which is against kingdom. Freedom and kingdom. What is a kingdom? Means the system or the society under control of king, whereas freedom means where every person is free to do anything which he likes to do, but subject to terms and condition or subject to the maintenance of a law and order situation. Every person has right to live his life. Assert themselves means according to the person, he can live his life the way he want, but without disturbing the fabric of the society, fabric of a law and order. And the fourth object of law, according to Roscoe Pound, is the maximum satisfaction. The maximum satisfaction, that is Sampurna Samadhan, satisfaction of the needs of people, of the needs of people. The maximum satisfaction, we cannot satisfy each and every want of people, but the state shall try or strive towards the maximum satisfaction of the people. Means there shall be a minimum grievances. There shall be minimum grievances of people against the state. These grievances has to be minimized or reduced so that people can live their life with the fullest satisfaction. That is, happiness index of the state shall be more. As we know that the international agency counts happiness index, means the how much people are happy in the particular country, in the particular state. That is the happiness index. And the success of a law, the success of legal system depends upon that happiness index. And therefore, the ultimate object of law, according to Roscoe Pound, is the maximum satisfaction of the needs of people. Now, these needs of the people are a certain, what we can say, economic perspective. And therefore, in Indian Constitution, we have Part 4 and particularly Article 39 of the Constitution, which provides for that there shall be economic justice with every person, because the person has to improve his status by way of getting opportunity, and thereby they can increase their life standard. They can have maximum satisfaction of their own life, their own needs. And what are the primary needs or the basic needs in every society? I hope you all are aware about it, as we know it as a रोटी कपडा अँड मकान. प्रत्येकाला रोटी कपडा मकान किंवा अन्नधान्य वस्त्र आणि निवाऱ्याची सोय झाली पाहिजे, ह्या माणसाच्या मूलभूत गरजा आहेत. मग याच्याबरोबर फूड, शेल्टर, क्लोथिंग, याच्याबरोबर काय पाहिजे, हेल्थ चांगली पाहिजे, एज्युकेशन चांगलं पाहिजे त्या ठिकाणी. दीज आर द प्रायमरी नीड्स. अर्लियर देयर वेर ओनली 3 बेसिक नीड्स ऑफ एव्हरी इंडिव्हिज्युअल. नाउ देयर आर more 2 had been added. These are the basic needs of every human being who are living on this earth. And therefore, many law, not only at the national level but at international level also, the what we can say ICCPR, that is the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, UDHR, that is Universal Declaration of Human Rights, International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights. These many international instruments have been made to secure this maximum satisfaction of the needs of the people. We have not to satisfy each and every need of the people, but at least we have to serve the basic needs of every human being. The basic needs are food, shelter, clothing, health and education. Now this pandemic situation, you must have witnessed that the state is striving to provide food to every person. मग प्रत्येकाला रेशन असेल, प्रत्येकाला स्वस्त धान्य दुकानातून किंवा पब्लिक डिस्ट्रीब्युशन सर्व्हिस जी आहे आपली पीडीएस सिस्टीम, 1000 किलो वाटप करणं असेल, फ्री अन्नधान्य वाटप करणं असेल, हे फूड अतिशय महत्वाचं आहे टू लिव्ह अ लाईफ. माणसाला जगण्यासाठी ते महत्वाचं आहे. त्याच्यानंतर काय पाहिजे, प्रत्येकाला शेल्टर पाहिजे, प्रत्येकाला निवाऱ्याची सोय उपलब्ध करून दिली पाहिजे. आणि म्हणून सरकारने प्रत्येक ठिकाणी काय केले, कोविड सेंटर उभारले की जिथे सगळ्यांना उपचार घेता येतील, किंवा 2022 पर्यंत सगळ्यांना घर उपलब्ध करून देण्याची स्कीम सध्या भारत सरकार राबवत आहे. त्याचबरोबर क्लोथिंग, प्रत्येकाला काय मिळालं पाहिजे, अंग झाकण्यापुरता कपडे मिळाले पाहिजेत, क्लोथिंग असली पाहिजे. हेल्थ. नाउ in this pandemic situation we know the importance of health very well. प्रत्येकाची आरोग्याची सुविधा उपलब्ध झाली पाहिजे. याच्याकरता मग आपल्या भारतामध्ये आता वेगळे प्रयोग केले जात आहेत. वन नेशन वन कार्ड असेल, किंवा महात्मा फुले जन आरोग्य योजना असेल, किंवा अनेक योजना शासनाकडून राबवल्या जातात. कशासाठी, टू सिक्युअर द हेल्थ. कारण तिथला नागरिक जर हेल्दी असेल, सक्षम असेल, तर तो आउटपुट चांगलं देऊ शकेल, एफिशियन्सी चांगली देऊ शकेल. आपोआप तिथलं समाज पुढे जाईल. समाज पुढे गेला म्हणजे तो देश पुढे जाईल. आणि म्हणून त्या देशामधला नागरिक किती हेल्दी आहे यावर तो देश किती प्रगती करेल हे अवलंबून असतं. त्या देशातले नागरिक जर गरीब असतील तर ते जास्त आउटपुट देणार नाही. त्या देशातले नागरिक जर दुबळे असतील, वीक असतील, फिजिकली फिट नसतील, तर ते त्यांचा सगळा खर्च जो आहे तो रोगीपणावर किंवा आजारपणावर होणार आहे, आणि मग त्याच्यातून पुढे डेव्हलपमेंट होणार नाही. म्हणून लहान बालकांपासून, म्हणजे मिड डे मील स्कीम असेल शाळेमध्ये, किंवा ज्येष्ठ नागरिकांसाठी असलेल्या अनेक आरोग्यदायी योजना असतील, आणि एज्युकेशन. वी हॅव सीन इन रिसेंटली इन नॅशनल पॉलिसी ऑफ एज्युकेशन जी झाली डिक्लेअर 2020 ची, त्याच्यामध्ये त्यांनी काय केलं, आरटीईचा जो काही फॉर्मॅट आहे हा 3 वर्षापासून पुढे 18 वर्षापर्यंत वाढवलेला आहे. आधी तो फक्त 6 वर्षापासून 12 वर्षापर्यंत होता, आता तो पुढे वाढवलेला आहे 6 ते 14 आणि आता 3 ते 18. म्हणजे एज्युकेशन इज द basic need of every human being, and therefore according to Roscoe Pond these are the object of law. Then moving further, according to Justice Holmes, Justice Holmes, the object of law is to prevent certain external result. The object of law is to prevent certain external result. Now this is a quite external. Now what are the external result? External result is in the form of offense. External result is in the form of offenses, or external result means the human behavior, which is external behavior, external conduct of every human being to prevent that certain behavior. Not only every behavior we have to prevent, but certain external behavior, certain external result which may be harmful for others, which may be harmful for others. These external behavior has to be prevented through the law. This is the object of law according to Justice Holmes. Then many jurists have said that there are different objects of law. According to Hindu law, according to Hindu view, the object of law is welfare of the people. Sarve bhavana sukhina santu, sarve santu niramayaha. This is the object of law in India, or in what we can say in Sanatan Dharma. What is the object of law? Is sarve sukhina bhantu, sarve santu niramayaha. म्हणजे सगळ्यांना आरोग्य मिळालं पाहिजे, सगळ्यांचं कल्याण झालं पाहिजे, ही त्या ठिकाणी. किंवा पसायदानामध्ये ज्ञानदेवाने देखील काय मागितलं आहे की आता विश्वात्मके देवे येणे वागेने तोषावे, तोषोनी द्यावे मज द्यावे पसायदान. हे म्हणजे त्यांनी सगळ्या सृष्टीसाठी लॉ असावा आणि त्याच्यातून सगळ्या समाजाचं कल्याण व्हावं हे मागितलेलं आहे. किंवा कल्याणकरी राम राया, हे जे रामदास जे काय म्हणतात, त्या रामदासांनी केलेली प्रार्थना जी आहे ते म्हणतात लॉ पाहिजे समाजामध्ये. कशासाठी? तर लोकांचं जास्तीत जास्त कल्याण कसं होईल याच्यासाठी आपल्याला लॉ पाहिजे. किंवा बुडविती जन देखवे ना डोळा, असं तुकाराम महाराज म्हणतात की लोक वाईट मार्गाला लागले आहेत, त्यांच्यासाठी आपल्याला लॉची आवश्यकता आहे, असं त्या ठिकाणी सांगितलेलं आहे. दीज आर द डिफरंट ऑब्जेक्ट्स ऑफ लॉ अकॉर्डिंग टू द हिंदू लॉ. देन अकॉर्डिंग टू Mohammedan law or according to Islamic law, what are the object of law? The object of law is the discipline of the soul. म्हणजे शिस्त लागली पाहिजे कोणाला? डिसिप्लिन ऑफ सोल. नागरिकांना किंवा तिथल्या लोकांना काय पाहिजे? डिसिप्लिन पाहिजे, शिस्त लागली पाहिजे. दिस इज द ऑब्जेक्ट ऑफ लॉ. फर्दर द इम्प्रुव्हमेंट्स ऑफ मोरल, त्यांचे जे नैतिक मूल्य आहेत त्याच्यामध्ये काय झाली पाहिजे? सुधारणा झाली पाहिजे. दिस इज द ऑब्जेक्ट ऑफ Islamic law. As we know that Islamic law has been developed recently, 2000 years back, in Arabian countries, where the tribals were fighting with each other for the purpose of survival, and therefore the prophet has said there shall be discipline of soul and improvement of moral, that we cannot curtail the life and property of others. Further, the Muhammad prophet says the object of law is the preservation of life, property and reputation. These are the object of law. That is particularly according to Islamic law, these are the object of law. First, discipline of soul, improvement. Discipline of soul means every person shall have namaz 5 times a day. He has to visit a Makkah and Medina. Means this is the discipline. Second, improvement of moral. You should have maximum moral. Then preservation of life, property and reputation is the object of Islamic law. Likewise, there are different objects of law according to different religions as such. I hope you are getting me. Okay, next we'll see last point and we'll stop here. There are many other jurists who have said many things, but we'll see Salmond and we'll stop then. According to Salmond, the object of law is justice. This is a very precise but a comprehensive sense which the Salmond has made. According to Salmond, law is those principles which are applied by the state in the administration of justice. The ultimate object of any law is justice. Now, justice is a abstract concept. What exactly justice is cannot be defined or cannot be, what we can say, pretend in a earlier manner. The justice has to be seen in facts and circumstances of each case, and therefore the justice, maybe now we know in preamble of the constitution we have justice, social, economic and political in nature. Now the when we see the sociological theory of jurisprudence, we are going to see the Roscoe Pond, will see Professor John Rawls. They have their own ideology of justice, but justice is the very basic principle of human being. Justice means to prevent the unjust behavior, to protect the person who are victims, and to punish the person who is a wrongdoer or who are having a unjust behavior. We have to stop them. The whole story of Hindu scriptures or Islamic scriptures revolves around the notion of justice. That is the ultimate object of law, is to have justice. पांडवांवर अन्याय झाला म्हणजे पांडवांवर इनजस्टिस झाला म्हणून महाभारताचं युद्ध झालं, इनजस्टिस झाला म्हणून. रावणाने सीतेवर इनजस्टिस केला किंवा रामावर इनजस्टिस केला म्हणून रामायणाचं युद्ध झालेलं आपल्याला दिसून येतं. किंवा वेगळ्या समाजामध्ये जे काही रिव्हॉल्युशन झाले, जे काही उठाव झाले, हे कशासाठी झाले, तर जस्टिस मिळवण्यासाठी. अँड देअरफॉर द अल्टिमेट ऑब्जेक्ट ऑफ एनी लॉ इज टू सेक्युअर जस्टिस. दिस इज द opinion of Salmond, and therefore further we know that justice can be categorized into several categories, like a principle natural justice, or we can say the denial of justice, natural justice, courts of justice, etc. Again we can say the term of distributive justice, which is in economic sense, it is used in economic sense. The concept of distributive justice means the justice for everyone, distributive justice. Here I would like to quote a quotation of Martin Luther King. I think yes, Martin Luther King: injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Means whenever there is injustice in any part of the state, in any part of the society, then it creates threat to the justice टू एव्हरी पार्ट ऑफ द सोसायटी. काश्मीरमध्ये काहीतरी दंगा चाललाय म्हणून आपण शांत बसायचं, किंवा दिल्लीमध्ये काहीतरी दंगा चाललाय म्हणून आपण शांत बसायचं, असं करून चालणार नाही. तर काल ते वुहानमध्ये होतं, चीनमध्ये होतं, आज सगळ्या देशामध्ये, आज सगळ्या भारतामध्ये कोरोना व्हायरस पसरलेला आहे. म्हणजे इनजस्टिस कुठेही झाला, तिथल्या चीनी नागरिकांबरोबर जर इनजस्टिस झाला असेल तर कालांतराने त्याची झळ आपल्यालाही पोहोचणार आहे. शेजारच्याचं घर जळतंय, आपल्याला काही घेणं देणं नाही असं आपण म्हणू शकणार नाही. आज त्याचं जळते, उद्या आपलं जळणार आहे. आणि मग इनजस्टिस एनिवेअर इज अ थ्रेट टू जस्टिस एव्हरीवेअर. समाजामध्ये कुठलाही घटक जर असंतुष्ट असेल तर तो समाज सुखी राहू शकत नाही, तो प्रोग्रेस करू शकत नाही. अँड देअरफॉर द जॉब ऑफ लॉ